Good evening, and thank you so much for being part of Smart 24 TV. We are back with the economic agenda, and today we quite have something that is going to pull your attention to the right issues. The economic agenda is here to discuss the intersection between politics and the economy. We are going to be discussing the cost of corruption on infrastructural development. My name is Noah Wapera, and this is Smart 24 TV Driving Business. With me, I have two guests. Two of them, usually I tell people that I don't like introducing adults. But on my left, I have Liada Moses. He's going to talk about himself. And also on my right, I have James Wire. He's also going to introduce himself. Ladies and gentlemen, let me give this gentleman an opportunity to talk to us today and say hi to you as we get into this very important topic that is not only for us in the studio, but for the entire nation. Mister, you're welcome to the show.
Well, thank you so much, dear the host. Today viewers, good evening. My name is Liada Moses, commonly known as People Power from the land of Butaleja, that is Bukit Sub-Region. I am a former MP contestant for Bunyole West constituency in Butaleja district and National Unity Platform.
That is all?
Precisely for now.
These men keep their titles. They keep their titles. James?
Yeah, good evening viewers. My name is James Wire, and I'm a man of many hats, but I'll quickly go through about myself. I currently happen to be more into a community advocate. My history, I started as an internet engineer in this country when internet was just taking root. Very first ideas I'm in a number of the set up companies. Got into ICT advocacy and did a lot in trying to help shape policy, government policy when it comes to technology over the years during the 2000s and the early 2011, 2016, the past decade. Along the way, I got into agribusiness also, done quite so much in terms of agribusiness, picked interest in empowering the youth to get into business and being able to make money for themselves, not necessarily looking for jobs, which took me into community advocacy. And I do a lot of blogging. I have my blog site, wirejames.com, where I actually do write and talk about different issues to do with society. And I'm so much into the digital economy because of my background in technology. And as an agriculturalist, that has also put me on the side of the livelihoods. So much work I'm doing up country, trying to help farmers add value to their products so they can improve on their household livelihoods.
Okay, James, we won't finish his but also he's called the blogger, but he's the community by a few circles. Why are you called the blogger? They don't know your titles. Because I mean, with this profile, why would I call you a blogger?
Well, it depends on which side you want to see me.
Okay.
Yeah.
That answers everything. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back on, and this happens every Tuesday. Our time check is about 5 minutes past 9. Today is the 26th of March 2024. Sorry about that, 2024. And just to start with, I will take us into the topic that has brought us here today. Uganda, by 2023, stands at position 141 in the corruption rating out of 180 countries globally. We are not okay. We are not doing well. And also, according to the Corruption Perception Index, which is the way corruption is measured, we are 23. In East Africa, we are number 4. Now, if you know how corruption is counted, it means we are badly off. I think the only winners in this is South Sudan, but we still are doing terribly bad. My questions lie around a number of things, but today's conversation, we want to draw corruption, the impact of corruption on infrastructure development. When we talk about infrastructure development, we are talking about roads, we're talking about hospitals, we're talking about schools, and so many other things. James is a man of many hats, and we have Liada, who is also a man of a few hats. But the few hats that he has have shaken up a little bit of the community with his corruption advocacy, and we want to get to understand, ladies and gentlemen, James, when it comes to you, what would you tell people corruption is? Sincere. Because out there, I think people just think that corruption has just become a word that connects to money and whatever they think.
Corruption, many times we tend to think, whenever it's spoken about, we think it's all about stealing money. But it's more than just stealing of money or misuse of money. Although today, if we're talking about Uganda, to digress a little bit, I think we have what is more than just corruption. What we have is actually looting. Okay? However, corruption is basically the dishonest or fraudulent conduct by those in power.
By those in power.
Dishonest and fraudulent. That could manifest in different ways. It could be financial. It could be in terms of opportunity. It could be in terms of access. It could be in terms of hindrance to certain facilities. That can all be deemed as corruption. Or it can be termed as inducement to wrong by improper or unlawful means.
In other words, someone is rushing to get rich at the cost of the money that doesn't actually belong to him.
Exactly. So corruption is something that goes beyond just the money. When you deny a young child, a young man or woman who is going to apply for a job, they have the papers, and then you opt to give someone who has no papers, that is already corruption. Someone goes to a medical facility, they need treatment, but because they are maybe poor or something, you deny them blood which is available, and you give someone, that's corruption. Even if that blood, that person does not pay for it, but because you've denied a more deserving individual, simply because they are lowly of the lowest in the society.
I don't corruption in terms of money. What are some of these cases that we could look at in Uganda? Because we need to understand, before we get into infrastructure development, what are some of these common money cases that we can discuss about today? Money cases, because you're giving examples which are actually very important for people out there, because for someone in Kawempe, someone in Rubaga may not understand that actually going to the hospital and you're denied because someone doesn't like you because of your tribe is related to corruption. You go to an office and someone refuses your papers and gives someone a job to someone else. They may not understand that actually this is corruption. What are some of these money-related corruption cases that we would look at?
Let's start with the most obvious that everyone interfaces with. Go to police. They want you to buy police bond. But isn't police bond free? Simple.
Yeah. Liada.
Yes, please.
You're a man of the people. You are down to the community. I according to what I follow from you, in the community, you talk to young people, you provoke them to act for the good of the country. One thing I would like to understand, what do you think is contributing to this rate of corruption in Uganda?
Thank you so much. Once again, the viewers and my dear panelists. I want to believe that the main cause of corruption in this country, we have degraded morally, the moral bit of it. I'm very sure I have called my mother to watch and was like, Toko isanyo lyo zungu lukambwe. So my English is going to be a bit moderate.
Okay.
And even other colleagues are like, don't speak the other English of yours. On assumption, anyway, I have it. But the moral bit of it has gone too low. We grew up, our parents, telling us that even taking sauce without their permission was wrong.
Yes.
Now, it is very hard to convince a child that taking sauce without the permission of your mother is wrong when he hears that parliament is leading in corruption, for example. When he hears that office of prime minister, that's where corruption starts. When he hears that the head of the state, with due respect, my uncle says that no, you can steal as long as you invest in the country. So it becomes very hard for the younger generation to tell them that check, it is bad to steal public money. Let me give you a very practical example from the field. When I wanted to contest for MPship, I reached out to the elders because my dad was an opinion leader. May his soul rest in peace, Mzee Edad Naro. And they used to tell me, our own, not now my immediate family members, but the elders from very different political groupings, NRM, UPC, FDC, they will be like, do you know ours? Once you join parliament, please do something for yourself and also for us. The meaning was, if you go to parliament and you access public funds, or you are appointed a minister, or you are appointed a commissioner, or leader of opposition, the meaning was, do as much as possible to get money, give us something, and also for yourself. Now, these are elders of about 80, 70 years. And I don't blame them. They were justifying it.
Who should be the pillars of morality?
But because of what they are seeing from others, they seem to have lost hope. So they're like,
can I give you a rejoinder on that?
I first disagree with you when you say because they are influenced. I don't think an elder, it should be a choice. It is like you're saying, I think they have also lost their morality. Because an elder, you should be able to have a strong will to stand against something that you don't believe in.
If you're not vulnerable, that is.
Where is the vulnerability?
But I have to give you a rejoinder to his.
A moment, because I'm giving you the practical part of it.
Yes. Me, I was only
These are elders. True.
Justification of
theoretically, that's what ideally would be. And actually, they gave their justification. They said, we don't want this. But what we see is what is being done. So on the component of morality, that is how we are losing it. That even those who would be protecting, once they see that the rest are doing it, they lose.
Let me ask James, any economic factors that are contributing to politics? Because I love that Moses is highlighting some of these social influences, and there's a lot of fact in it, there's a lot of truth in it. What are those economic factors that are contributing, that may have contributed to corruption in Uganda?
Okay, before I get to that, I wanted to give a rejoinder to his statement. He was looking at the generational influence on corruption. I went to school to visit my son just last Saturday, and we always have an open talk. We were speaking so many things, and told me about one of their colleagues who last year set up a circle at school. That was a brilliant idea anyway.
Is it working?
He set it up, collected money. He said, I think they had collections of savings of over 1.8 million.
At school?
Yes. But the term ended.
We may need to ask which school is that.
The term ended.
We may need to know which school is
Sergeant School. where most of the influential
Yes.
leaders.
This is a school where the
Mwiri.
where the president of PLU, not PLU. What's that? Mwiri.
Mwiri. However,
Mwiri is a well-placed school.
Yeah, the term
kids
ended.
come with pocket money of about 500,000.
The term ended, and the boy simply never came back to school.
He went with the money.
And he vanished with all their money.
Are we winning?
They have tried following up, calling him, zero. He even switched off numbers.
Do you remember a capital chicken?
Yes.
Now this boy laid a capital chicken scam at anyway,
So to get back to the issue you asked me, some of the factors, economic factors that are leading to corruption.
Yes.
One, you have to go a little bit back. We have been increasingly becoming a highly capitalistic society, where if you don't have money, you can hardly survive.
Yeah.
Where the Muganda says, atalina sente tafumita chindazi.
Yes.
And nearly everything, we shifted from the time when you could afford to survive, you could easily get water to drink, for example. But today you have to pay for any water you want to drink. You could get where to take a short call in town. Today you have to pay for everywhere you go for a short call. That means money is ruling. Now it means everyone must have an income, whether you're earning it legitimately or illegitimately.
James is basically directing us that the economic factors are contributing to corruption, which is actually affecting the economy.
Correct.
Which is a reverse cycle.
Can I join this point?
Yes.
I agree entirely with James. Why? That the more in a capitalistic kind of state, when you have money, you have the power. You control. You control police. You control the lawmakers. You control the policy makers. You control the media. So everyone whose moral standard has gone low thinks that by having that, you are going to be protected. A case in the point. If you are arrested and you have money, you are detained from a very different facility.
Yes.
So who wouldn't in this Uganda wish to be detained in a very different state? And in the case, if you stole large sums of money, even the judge will give you a call, I hear, because I've not stolen yet. But I've heard stories that they will be like, they will advise you on how to overcome the case. How many cases of corruption under public service have been taken to court, settled, and they have refunded? The best is you hear he has been to Ruzira for maybe 6 months, and what you hear again, that the interdiction has ended, and he will even be paid back his money. So when a junior hears, so why can't this junior really be tempted to steal? But it is not right. You know, the Baganda say nyonyento yigiriza omukulu okubuuka.
It is one thing to come here and we discuss the cost of corruption on infrastructure development, and we leave you without understanding what corruption actually is.
Sure.
We want to understand, because people have gotten to the level whereby corruption is talked about, but it's like with no clear understanding. Now today is when we are trying to draw a picture and clear economic conditions, social conditions have contributed to corruption. But in other words, corruption is biting back the social life.
Absolutely.
And the economic life, which at the end of the day is going to leave us in a state of anarchy. We won't have clear answer on where the economy is. James, let me get to you. Has corruption been normalized in Uganda? And if I may ask, why should we think otherwise? Has corruption been normalized in Uganda? And why should we think otherwise?
I want to believe to a high extent.
Of course, he will agree. I know he's
To a high extent,
I'm a victim of corruption
has been normalized because when you find just through discussions around, when people are talking about stealing money, If you talk of someone who's 20 years ago, if there was a corruption scandal of 10 million shillings made big headlines.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's true.
They normalized that 10 million is nothing. Then it went graded to hundreds of millions. At first it made headlines. That was again normalized. Then we went to billions. Nowadays, talk of 2 billion. You saw the parliament expose on whatever.
Yes.
2 billion going to an account of a junior executive in the parliament?
And I want to work.
Okay.
I'm kidding.
That is all part of the normalization psychologically. Now you hear of trillions, and it's normal. Lubowa, trillions.
We are coming to Lubowa.
So you get it. So that shows you
yes.
that it is being normalized. Even in schools, campaigns. This primary PLE, I don't know, head prefect schools, kids, guys are spending money.
Millions of money.
Bribing the voters. Now, if you're going to bribe kids in P5, P6 to get...
And they also know that you have to give me money first before I
give you my vote.
That is very normal now.
It is so normal.
Very sadly, we should cry for this country. I think we should go ahead and wait for this country. What does it? I wish I had a preacher here who would possibly remind us of a scripture that if my people who are called by my name, if they repent and call upon my name, I shall heal their land. I am not a preacher, but I think the Bible says that. I want to get to Mr. Yenda,
Please.
who I want to hear about the normalization of corruption in Uganda. What is your say? Maybe you disagree with James.
One, I would request an opportunity to also give a local. You know, my mother is on of the meaning of corruption, and my mother, like you put it right, she thinks when you steal money and perhaps you're from public sector. As I was coming, I was sharing my views. I told Boda guys, Muhimumanyi, I'm going to Smart TV. Yeah. They were like, politics. I said, no, it's about corruption. I was getting their opinions, yes. Most of our people don't know that if I went to any public facility and I'm denied access without a convincing reason, that is already part of corruption.
Yes.
There are places when I was still looking for public jobs, I went and the guy asked. I had also, my Gamba Nogu had called in, which was also part of corruption, but I was desperate. He said, my name wasn't Tarling, was where I had gone. He said, but how did you connect with the Honorable? That was part of already corruption also. I have had issues personally with police. You go to police, you greet a police officer at the reception, and if you have if you haven't dressed like me here today, then he continues WhatsApping. Then you are like, excuse me, madam. Say, what am. That is already corruption. I need a simple document of replacing a line. Before you pull out the money, before you even write and give it to me, you are asking me for lunch. That is already corruption. And some of these things, when you tell the police officer who are law enforcement agencies, they will say, Gwe, you don't live in Uganda. And you're Ugandan. So if that person is doing so, what do you expect a conductor to do? What do you expect a border to do? So corruption to me, or to my society of border and my mother, is when you misuse any power, any resource that is intended to serve a bigger population for your very selfish interest.
One of the things that...
So as I get back to the, because you had asked me, that do I, do I agree that corruption has been normalized? Well, you see, legally it hasn't been normalized, but practically it has been normalized. At the cost of my own political survival and life in my political party. I have an experience with a person in government. I don't know whether it does no harm. A positive one, don't get worried. I can see you're getting worried. No, a positive one. Callers can justify this. I was a guild speaker at Uganda Cooperative College, Chugumba. We had one of the highest moral standard as students, and we call ourselves cooperators. There is no doubt that during our time of office, that any person ate any single coin. And our allowances per sitting, I think, was about 2,000-3,000. But the moral standard we found at Cooperative College Chugumba changed our mind. And during that time, with due respect, that was 2012, General Sari came, was graduating with us. I was the sitting guild speaker. Being a politician of the, was highly selling at college. My name is written on the walls. I interacted with the general as a leader in that capacity, not for politics, because by that time I had not joined politics. I may not go into details, but we were taking students to somewhere for kind of exposure in agriculture. He bought the idea. Then he got so much excited and said, before I leave, because he stayed there 3 days, you should come.
Just very briefly to summarize.
You should come and say, I say bye-bye to you.
Okay.
Now, in the process of me going, there was another person who was from West, wanted to see the man. I went with the guy and asked, why did you bring this other person? Yet I invited you alone. I said I knew this person would not access you. He said, this is very good, but how comes this person you brought has not called other people from other regions? He came because he knew I was a Munyankole. I loved that. Because he was trying to discourage corruption in that context. Wow. I'm not saying he's a clean man in that regard. But I wanted to give...
That's all we know about him for now. He's a clean man. Ladies and gentlemen, Smart 24 TV, we are discussing the cost of corruption on infrastructure development. But first of all, when you have wise men, especially from the East, you definitely need to jump into their wisdom and understand. So they are giving us highlights. I know, hope that doesn't offend my friend Magez, who is on from Barara. But yes, Honorable Magez, you know that wise men come from the East. But yes, today on Smart 24 TV, we are trying to understand deeply corruption, what it is, to the level that omuntu wawansi nayategere, that if I go to police and they ask me for money before they help me, that is corruption. If I go to the hospital and they choose to help someone else and leave me because they do not know me, that is corruption. If I go to a school and the head teacher chooses to treat another child differently from mine, that is corruption. Small things that have been ignored are contributing and affecting this economy in the ways that we are going to look at. We will go into a short commercial break, and when we return, we will be jumping into the other section of this show. Thank you so much for being part of Smart 24 TV. We will return.
Smart 24, driving business.
These holidays, you don't need to go far to find the best entertainment.
Have I got a surprise for you?
All you need to do is stay connected to DSTV.
I'm so excited.
Pick your moment of fun and share it with your family.
Oh, that's gorgeous, yeah.
Overpowering.
Pass the keeper! Jude Bellingham!
Pick the best stories and share them with your friends.
Max Verstappen wins!
Pick your moment to shine with the world's hottest stars.
Juventus get their goal! Alert!
Because it's your moment to hang out with the characters you love.
That's exactly what I do.
Whether you're at home or on the move, Make it a holiday to remember.
This is the final round. Ain't gonna stop me now.
Because these holidays, it's your moment to enjoy the best entertainment. So get and stay connected to DSTV to enjoy every moment.
Osmosis is coming.
Osmosis, what's the money? When do you see him? Send him to Momo.
My bossy, can I borrow fuel? Biggie money, can I borrow renty? Manager, give me some caloni. Okay, what about 5K?
When you need a loan, you've got MTN Momo. Wesotinge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Luxury redefined at Seasan Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasan Hotel. So visit today at plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasan Hotels, luxury redefined.
Smart 24, driving business.
And yes, thank you so much. Thank you very much for being part of the show. The Economic Agenda on Smart 24 TV. My name is Noah Opera. And with me I have James. James, a man with many hats. He couldn't even finish his profile. But I think we can get an autobiography at some point. It gets published. And on my left I have Liada, the man from National Unity Platform. One of the strong members of the National Unity Platform from the Taleja district, and a former aspirant MP Bunyole East West, yes,
and chairman.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we are looking at the cost of corruption on infrastructure development. Infrastructures determine a lot of things when it comes to a nation's stability, economically, even socially. I mean, there's no way I can go and see my parents on Christmas if the road is bad. You know that. So either way, it cuts across. It supports even politics. And I'm sure some people are not going back to parliament because of certain things, like roads that are not advocate for. This I will say with confidence because I think we can see from online how people complain about it. It's not... I'm not leading people to think, but these are things that people are saying. I will get to James. I think we have about 3 cases when it comes to infrastructure development, because if we took infrastructure as general, we're not going to finish tonight. We will talk up to next year, maybe up to 2026 when we start general elections. So we're going to look at the case of Lubowa Hospital. We are going to look at the case of education in terms of schools, construction of schools. And we're also going to look at roads. But in this case, we're going to look at a few roads, including the roads in the Butaleja district, that have finished, that have been pending for 27 years after the president promised that they're going to be constructed. James, giving an example of Lubowa Hospital and the corruption scenarios that have been unfolding around it, the promissory budget that was made was over 300 million, 371 US dollars, yes, million US dollars, yes, 371 million US dollars. Is that it?
379.
379. Sorry, I even underestimated. Looking at Lubowa Hospital, the things have been unfolding, the corruption stories that have been unfolding. How does this leave infrastructure development in Uganda?
Well, if we're talking about corruption and how it affects infrastructure development, we have very many vivid examples. Recently, I wrote an article which I submitted to the Daily Monitor, and I hope they publish it one of these days. In that article, I nearly shed tears. But let me just briefly point out, Lubowa Hospital, 264 bed capacity hospital. The cost to the taxpayer is $379.7 million. Already $70 million has been advanced to the contractor, and all we are seeing is a foundation.
For the $70 million US dollars.
No site meeting has taken place. Efforts by parliamentarians to go there have been futile. Let's just go to our next door neighbor, Tanzania. In Dodoma, they built the Benjamin Mkapa Hospital, a brand new international standard specialized hospital.
Yes.
400 bed capacity. It cost $60 million to complete construction and furnish it fully. And it is doing a lot of work, including attracting health workers from Uganda going there to carry out highly specialized work.
Tanzania.
Okay? So, you can see what that means to us. With $70 million, we're even still saying, give us more money, give us more money. And we only have a foundation. If that is not corruption, then what is it?
A lot of things have been happening around Lubowa Hospital. One of the things that I would like to understand is the fact that this money, this project was, I think, launched during the time of Right Honorable Rebecca Kadaga.
True.
Right?
True.
Yes.
They have stopped people from supervising this hospital, this project. Because it's not yet a hospital, but yes, it's a hospital project. And I think this year, the Minister of Health came out asking for 2.7 billion Uganda shillings to supervise the project. What is not going right with this project that is taking a lot of money that the Ministry requests for money, but then the supervising body, which is Parliament, has been denied to go and supervise the hospital?
If you look at the basic principles of project management, everything is not right about the project. Everything is not right about the project. At such a level of a project, and you have such inconsistencies, then the adage, if it grunts like a pig, it is a pig, applies. Simple. I happen to be the board chairman of a hospital.
Which one is this?
Busolo Hospital, General Hospital, okay? And we have followed the proper procedures of project management. We have site meetings every month from the time the project began over a year ago with Excel Construction. That's for the main hospital.
And I have attended one of them.
Okay.
Freely.
And as a result...
You are invited to come and attend the meeting freely.
Freely.
Yes. And as a result, it is moving on well.
Why don't they appoint you as a board of Lubowa Hospital?
The day they feel they want competent personnel.
The man is here.
You know?
I recommend.
Invite community people because in your capacity by that time you're a community person.
Yes.
But you're invited to the board meeting. We are asking questions.
There is nothing classified about construction of a hospital.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a potential candidate for Lubowa Hospital.
Correct.
James Wille. We would like you to consider him for chairperson.
But at your own cost, if you're a thief.
But here is the thing. Liada.
Please.
The money that has so far been spent on Lubowa Hospital and it's spending, and yet we have a lot of other health centers. What do you think this money would do in Butaleja as a community where you come from and you want to represent them in parliament?
What
do you think? Just look at $70 million US.
Thank you. Before we even reach there,
yes.
Let me inform the viewers that according to IGG's report on Buddhism, my mother refused those words. According to IGG's report, we as a country, Uganda, we lose 9 trillion Uganda shillings annually through corrupt officials. You know, I'm an advocate of the Tamaka Road.
Mr. Leda, let me correct you on that, the IGG's report. According to 2021 survey, we lose 21 trillion.
21 trillion.
By the IGG. 2021, not even 23.
2021.
So that's even an understatement.
Where does this money go? What do they use the money for?
Thank you.
Because if we were spending it in this country, where does this money go? Let's go before we come to that.
Yes.
Where does this money go?
It is in the hands of the graft officials.
Because
if I had the powers, I would give you time.
Because the IGG was told.
Yeah, those ones I know even without the IGG's
go
report.
slow about lifestyle. Anyway.
So when I get back to your point, to your question, you are asking if things were going well, what would be the use of this money? Before I even go scientific, the Namutumba, Busolwe, Butaleja, Nabumali, Luangori Road, I'm told it requires about 300 and something billion shillings.
Not dollars.
Shillings. And do you know the excitement the Vasogas of Namutumba, the Vanyolis of Butaleja, and the part of the Gishus of Mbale would be getting? James is good at mathematics, but I'm very sure, according to the money that is going to be, that has been spent, it is not even 10% of the money.
On
what is required to do the road, in just Butaleja alone.
I wanted you to, before you go to the roads, because we are going to get to that part of the infrastructure, I want you to look at the money that has so far been spent on Lubowa Hospital without proper accountability, without physical accountability, without proper transparency of if actually the work is being done or it's not being done. How much would be done with this money in Butaleja? Without dwelling on the road first, because we are going to get into the roads. How much would be done in Butaleja?
Actually,
I know you have a manifesto.
Actually, when you say how much, it means I must quantify it, which will be not practical.
Okay, what
for
would
the
be that?
I've done a quick calculation for you here.
Yes.
That $70 million that has so far been paid out at Lubowa and the Zone Foundation is enough to foot the 300 billion bill of that road you mentioned.
And we have the balance.
Yes, it's been a
but
balance.
so importantly, the host, so importantly, not for Butaleja, so importantly,
this man should not complain on my side.
I have an experience from Mulago, Uganda Heart Institute. This is very important. and it is a matter of national importance. James, you are aware, I read the campaign, and other people are aware, it is even in the book, the government paper. The Malago records are there. Actually, we are still being demanded. I want one to respect the medical fraternity of this country, regardless of their weaknesses.
Yeah,
I also want to give it to them, especially the Uganda Heart Institute, and make an appeal that some of these monies we are wasting on politicians. I'm a politician. If part of it is diverted to Uganda Heart Institute, I would be happy even if I didn't go to Parliament. Why? We had a case of a young man who was called Higgin Alex. He had a heart problem, and according to the medics of the institute, the bill was about 26 million shillings, minus other expenses of for the operation, which was done successfully. But we made a lot of appeals. But when we went deep to ask the experts, they were saying, and the operation was done successfully, but we begged, we wrote very many letters. My
I saw you on social media.
Exactly.
For that
So they said that the 26 million shillings used at Mulago Heart Institute to carry out a similar surgery in, say, India, by one person, it would be the money you use
to go to India
for the same operation as one person would be used to treat 10 people at Mulago Heart Institute. That means whoever eats, in the local language of my mother, now understanding, but whoever steals,
whoever
has already killed 9 Ugandans.
It's why, maybe that is why in some countries corruption is treated as murder and it's a death sentence.
And here,
in some countries,
corruption is a reward.
That's not justifiable. That's not justifiable. It's not a reward.
It's a reward.
How do you say it's a reward?
It is a motivation for climbing the ladders in politics.
Climbing the ladders in society. In my journalism class at Uganda Management Institute, they had a saying, a theory they were building, that NRM uses what they call corruption intervention. I won't go into details. But, ladies and gentlemen, and viewers of Smart 24 TV, we are on the topic, the cost of corruption on infrastructural development. We are citing an example of Ruwa Hospital and how much money has been spent on this hospital, what it could have done so far for the economy. He's citing the case of Uganda Heart Institute. He's citing the case of the roads in Butaleja and where? Busole Hospital. So, in other words, the money that is not yet even accounted for in that has been spent on the Boa Hospital. This money could already have changed the economy in so many ways. Let's get into the education sector. I will still come to this gentleman because in Butaleja we have seen, you have been sharing photos of schools, of people studying in ramshackle classrooms. The education sector, what is your take? What has been the cost of corruption on these education sectors? And what do you think should be done to make sure that at least something it goes to the education sector?
Thank you so much, dear viewers. I want to thank, by the way, the former leaders of Butaleja in that sector. When it comes to infrastructure, we are fair. And we have been fair for the infrastructure since, I think, even colonial times. The Bukedi College, the challenge is now performance. Where I hail from, I have a city school.
Service delivery, actually.
Service delivery.
Actually, but I don't want to go the other side of the politics, but I'm generalizing it that when it comes to the buildings, we have had many NGOs come, partner with government. The buildings are there, but the performance is a very big question when we compare ourselves to other areas. But I'm not here to say that we should be bad because other areas are bad. No, as a leader from the land, I would always fight for the best. But let me cite a very clear example that because of corruption It appeared in news. Nakwasi said, I'm very sure you are aware, the district officials, together with the Ministry of Education officials, connived, and 2 billion shillings was lost. That money was supposed to install ICT equipment. I think we discussed that on social media.
That was supposed to go to which school?
Nakwasi Seed, Senior Secondary School. Yes. So, if I have not heard that that money was refunded, neither, I only heard that they had arrested the ones we call in our hard discussion, chicken thieves. Instead of getting the real, I would be happy to the governors of this country if I ever hear that the 2 billion shillings were refunded to the treasury and at worst be transferred to another district than this money being used to construct hotels in Kampala by a few individuals. So the cost of corruption in that regard of our local school, SEED, it means these computers, the students are going to be failing. And when they fail, ICT is part of the new curriculum. When they fail, they are going to drop out. As they drop out, Butaleja is losing because of a few people. As they drop out, the child pregnancy is obvious in Butaleja. And I'm very disappointed that most of the elites, they keep quiet. Most of the leaders, they keep quiet. I would have been very happy if I had the leaders and the locals saying, please, if we don't get clear information from the Ministry of Education, please, Mr. President, do something for us.
This is where I get to trust the keyboard warriors, the likes of James. Let me put this this way, from the understanding of this conversation. We are not only discussing corruption that, and we are not only criticizing corruption. We are trying to highlight the challenges that it has caused. Because, James, if you look at the 2 billion shillings, according to Liada, the 2 billion shillings that were allocated for the schools, where do you see the future of education in Uganda? Because in whichever way, education is the backbone to development. Whether we want or not, if the population is not educated effectively, we won't have a future, a bright future in Uganda. Where do you see the future of education with this kind of corruption?
A moment, host. There's a point I and him were together. He's not a direct politician, but I think by practice he is. we had a petition over recruitment of illegal recruitment at Butaleja local government. We were free, him, me and other colleague. Actually, me, I was arrested that time. But one of the concerns...
You are arrested by who?
By Uganda police on orders of
Uganda
people I don't want to mention.
Who ordered the arrest?
The political heads and the top official government officials.
The national political heads or
the local?
The local political heads.
Yeah. So our concern was the public was crying. Unlike a city, in the village they know what I studied. They know that for you studied journalism. The moment you become a teacher of not journalism, they will question. They will question him.
So, just a moment. You were arrested because...
We were trying to say there was illegal recruitment in all sectors. But since we are touching education, the teachers were most complained about by the community.
And they arrested you.
So we are in a situation where we have incompetent teachers recruited who don't have the right qualification, and we are in a situation where the money has been swindled. The situation becomes worse in that context. I wanted to pull it out.
Okay, I want to give James 2 minutes before we go for a short commercial break. I want to give you 2 minutes to add on something on what we are discussing in line with education.
Yeah, thank you very much, my colleague Liada. When you talk about education, especially upcountry, I get so sad. Just 3 weeks ago, I was in the village, and I went to one of the schools where we support some destitute children, and we found the children learning, the ones in lower classes, P1, P2, P3, learning how to write using the floor, the floor, the mud floor, where there is soil.
So in other words, the classrooms are not cemented?
They were outside in the compound, on the ground, writing, learning how to write letters right on the ground. Okay? And all that, yet others are stashing away lots of resources. You look at the teachers, there are very few teachers. Sometimes even the ones who are there are not qualified to teach. And then tomorrow we expect those people to be competitive. What does that mean to us? We might deny them education today. Believe you me, tomorrow you are going to get old and vulnerable. And these young people, the young generation you refused or you stopped from gaining knowledge and skills, will be the ones now resorting to crime, and they'll be attacking you. You're 70 years old, you can't run, you can't shout, and they'll murder you in your high-rise of, whatever expensive house you're staying in. So we need to safeguard even we ourselves from such eventualities.
Okay.
And do you know that 9.2 million Ugandans, according to the report I was reading, cannot read and write?
That is on the economic agenda, and we are always here every Tuesday from 9. Ladies and gentlemen, allow us to go for a very short commercial break. We'll be coming back to get into the last bits of our topic today, the cost of corruption on infrastructure development. You can also be part of the show. You can check out the social media handle, that is Smart24 TV. You can drop your contributions there. We shall be sharing them. And you can also check out on Facebook and share with us your opinions. For now, we'll go into a short commercial break. We'll be coming back. Stay tuned.
Smart 24, driving business.
These holidays, you don't need to go far to find the best entertainment.
Have I got a surprise for you?
All you need to do is stay connected to DSTV.
I'm so excited.
Pick your moment of fun and share it with your family.
Oh, let's go, just
Overpowered.
Past the keeper, Jude Bellingham.
Pick the best stories and share them with your friends.
Max Verstappen wins.
Pick your moment to shine with the world's hottest stars.
Juventus get their goal. Alert!
Because it's your moment to hang out with the characters you love.
That's exactly what I do.
Whether you're at home or on the move, make it a holiday to remember.
This is the final round. Ain't gonna stop me now.
Because these holidays, it's your moment to enjoy the best entertainment. So get and stay connected to DSTV to enjoy every moment.
Cooking oil like no other makes your meal so sweet and scrumptious. The taste of Uganda. The taste of Uganda. The taste of Uganda.
Rachel, Rich. The Queen Cobra, the password of the money, the original no spare parts, the 11th commandment, the question and the answer.
Moses, I know you want money, but I'm also broke.
Ah, no. Money is not an object. These days, Momo sorts me out anytime. In fact, my sister, let me also sort you out.
Really?
I've just sent you instructions on how to get a loan on Momo. I'm here for you. Can I borrow some chips?
When you need a loan, you've got MTN Momo. We're Sotinge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Smart 24, driving business.
Welcome back to the Economic Agenda. This is Smart 24 TV. We are just 2 minutes past 10. We have our guests here, James Wide, chairperson board of a hospital, and also a consultant and a man with so many hats. He's presented papers and supported in policy implementations on ICT and a number of other things. We also have Liada Moses, who is a former aspirant for MP, the seat of Bunyole West. He's also a highly educated man. You didn't tell us about your for your age. You're already finishing your master's, right? You did your master's, right?
Yeah,
you finished?
I'm doing it. Dear viewers, I'm a student of
Uganda Management Institute.
Yeah.
I am honored, James. Something is burning that you don't even want me to ask a question. Please hijack my microphone.
Yes, thank you very much. You're talking of, should I start with transport infrastructure?
Yeah, roads in particular. Okay.
Transport.
Yes. Yes.
Roads, I think the story is really obvious, but I just want to highlight also to show the gravity of the situation. I want to use the standard gauge railway that we are talking about constructing in Uganda. And again, to show you how serious some people are to ensure that they rep this economy. Let's look at our neighbor, Tanzania once again. I'm not going far because
you have been benchmarking from Tanzania.
I have lots of examples, by the way.
Yes.
Their standard gauge railway has a length of 2,561 kilometers. Okay?
Yes.
With numerous stopovers leading to different destinations. And it's going to be the longest in Africa. And it's expected to consume $10.4 billion upon completion. Okay?
The Uganda one?
The Uganda, and by the so far, the Tanzanians have done 50% of that.
Of the job.
Oh, yes, of the job. The Ugandan one, which is 273 kilometers, costing $2.2 billion. 273 kilometers compared to 2,500, which is practically a tenth in length. And yet the cost is, if you divide that, it's about a quarter of the other one.
I should be educated on the standard railway gauge. Is this the one I see?
So the standard gauge is connecting us to Kenya?
Now ours is just running from Kampala up to the border.
Up to the border. Oh yes, the border. Because
just
that, also going to
yes,
up to
just that short distance, 273 kilometers. Now forget this one here is just it is.
No, this is like an urban road. I would say that.
Yes. You know. So now from there again, we get back infrastructure and the corruption. Look at the hydroelectricity projects we have. Karuma, to produce 600 megawatts, costing $1.7 billion. Isimba Dam, to produce 183 megawatts. and is costing us $567 million. And by the way, it already has defects, and they're planning to close it. I think they even closed it as
the Karuma.
No, Isimba. It hasn't
Isimba,
even before it works.
The one in is it Kamuli?
Kamuli here. Okay. Now let's compare the money being put in these dams, which combined are going to produce not more than 800 megawatts.
And the Tanzanian one
is 1.7 plus 567 million. That is over $2 billion. Okay, like $2.2 billion. Now, the Julius Nyerere hydropower station project in Tanzania, 2.1 gigawatts, which when you convert is 2,100 megawatts, which is over way much, almost twice what the capacity of both Karuma and Isimba is costing 2.9 billion.
I have information over
I want you to finish with these figures.
I thought you had done.
Yes. So now, to be honest, when you start discussing value for money, something is not matching up. And we can't keep hiding away from these realities. The cost of effecting infrastructure projects in Uganda is exorbitantly high, and it's the reason why many of the projects are incomplete.
The cost of corruption on infrastructure development is what we are discussing. Now, the breakdown makes me want to ask a question. You had another example of the road that you wanted to give, but I think this gives us a point of discussion, and I'll get into our last phase of this discussion, which is where have we lost the fight? Where have we lost the fight? Because if this is the issue, we are looking at infrastructure in Uganda being abnormally expensive to construct, and yet results are not, we have a lot of results, honestly. I want to give credit to the government for every effort they have put in. The roads, a number of roads are constructed. But now we're looking at some of these major projects which are like top budget projects. If we look at now the dams and then we talked about Loboa, where have we lost the fight?
I want to thank the viewers once again. I've got my inbox. Someone wanted us to speak about the real effects. I don't know, you'll give me maybe a minute.
Please, you can go ahead and
such that this person feels the data has not gone for free. Effects of corruption on service delivery, among others, include diversion of funds. To me, I didn't go to that because I wanted to bring the local content, but diversion of funds, that money meant to build Katosi Road is being eaten by 5 officials. That's you have diverted from the original purpose. It makes the cost of the project very high. That as they swindled part of the man of Katosi Road, government cannot stay with an unfinished business, especially when it has pressure from the donors. They had to borrow money, maybe that money which would be going to maybe Karamoja, and bring it back to Katosi. It gives us poor quality services. Let us take still Katosi as an example. The road is new, but it has a lot of cracks. The dam you have spoken about.
It's at risk.
It also brings the political, the voters or the citizens lose trust in the government. And it is evident.
I want to just cut a little bit of short. I want to highlight this seems very, very important. These projects are not only expensive, but they seem to be substandard.
Most of them.
Which is another cost, because we will spend on maintenance of the projects. Please go ahead.
And then we find the low economic growth. To my mother watching and my people of Butaleja, low economic growth is, instead of producing a lot of things, you are producing few. Instead of developing very fast, the development is a bit slow.
When you talk about production, someone might think it's only in agriculture or whatever, but even in education,
actually,
we're producing low.
Every sector.
Yes.
Every sector.
We are producing low and substandard.
Because like I've given an example that the Heart Institute, because of low funding, accommodates few people. Others come and say, please, you wait. You have seen people sleeping on the floor. But then when we hear that in another department or agency, someone is found with 3 billion shillings and is stolen, then we get worried as citizens of this country. It also breeds inequality, income inequality, and also regional imbalances. Assuming all the ministers are coming from, say, Eastern, then they are stealing the money. It means the incomes, the public incomes are going to be in the pockets of those few from that
particular region.
Exactly.
So
then it builds impunity. Because the moment you have 50 billion shillings in your pocket, it means you can fund Uganda police. Therefore, if I'm funding Uganda police, I will use Uganda police chopper to land to Butaleja. So, I think I wanted to make my brother, who was, very uncomfortable with us not giving him that, and also gives us high cost of doing business.
So, where have we lost the fight?
We have lost the fight. One, for me as a politician, I see little or pretense or pretended political goodwill that the head of state and a few colleagues, they will invite Yada Moses and other people who are influential in the society and say, let us have, and they call it anti-corruption walk.
Yes.
Then you walk, but then the following week, the thieves are got, the suspects are got, and they are not taken anywhere.
Just to emphasize on something, there was Transparency International wrote an article about Rubawa Hospital. They highlighted the loopholes in the way the contractors were hired. It was an open contract. It's like one contractor got the job, which makes transparency a little bit complicated and also accountability a little bit complicated because he's a sole winner. But if you read the article, there are quite a number of things that are involved around there. So it may not necessarily be the president, but also I don't think the president is the one who awards contracts like like
no, me I'm a politician, but I can answer that.
That has been normalized in Uganda. Let's go to the case of Katosi Road saga. You award the contract, and the company that is allegedly going to do the work is not even registered.
And they are letters are company.
Me who has done business with the government, you cannot tell me that, oh, we didn't know. You see, the company was supposed to. That is total thuggery. Okay? That is institutionalized. Okay? So, what are some of the things that are affecting us? There's a lot of political interference in the duties of technocrats.
You're talking about where we have lost the fight?
Yes. Political interference in the duties of technocrats. Start right from the district level. LC5 chairman running around the offices. You award this one the contract for water. You make sure this teacher goes to the other school. You make sure this person becomes
he's in procurement. He's in communication. He's in
recruitment of staff. He's determining who becomes the MS. Political interference. Now that's at the district level. Now the same is happening upstairs.
Upstairs is even worse.
From there, look at the nature of politics we are in. It's transactional politics. Transaction means in punk way.
The only thing that I will disagree in this area is in the area of how these people that have been exposed in corruption have been handled. We are babysitting them. I feel like some of these people, we have discussed social and economic factors that contribute to corruption. But I think some of these guys are generally thieves. They're thieves. Let
me chip in.
Because if they have stolen and we babysit them and tell them, it's good they have invested, it's one thing I want to ask James. I know he might hit the nail just in criticism, but this one might get a little bit neutral. And you have been told you have visited the country, so that is okay. Is this justifiable? Can this help us stop corruption? If the president came out and said, okay, we know you're criticizing these people, but it's good they have invested in the country, but the properties are actually private. They're not government properties. They're private. Can this help us stop corruption?
First of all, by default, every human being is capable of doing anything.
True. That's true.
Okay? Every human being is capable of stealing, capable of killing, capable of loving, capable of doing good and bad. However, what makes us not do something or do something? It is because of the guidelines in place on how we lead life and the punishments that come with going against those guidelines. Now, we in Uganda are so good. We have the guidelines. You're not supposed to steal. This is what's going to happen to you. However, even when people cross the line, they are handled with a soft hand. The person who was stealing today, now tell me, do your homework. The guys who court ordered that they should pay back 20 billion for the Katosi Road saga, find out, did they ever pay that money?
That is for us to investigate now and find out. Liada,
please.
Be very honest. Don't be too much National Unity Platform.
Yes.
I want you to speak as a Ugandan.
And I've always
do you think the government has done enough to fight corruption?
Actually,
out of 10, how much do you give?
Maybe that could be the question. But when you say, out of 10, I think I would give this government 4. And the 4 is basically government has helped to give us a picture that is fighting, because they are funny laws, they are very good laws rather, policies, but funny actors, you get. For example, I want to thank the current IGG. She has tried. Exactly. She keeps saying, Banange, Banange, ABC is not happening. But I want to give you a very practical, because for us, we work in the communities. And I want to thank, basically, most of the DSOs seem to be a bit honest.
Okay.
Seem to be a bit honest.
That's a rare position we could not have to
among the public officials. They would always say, okay, can you give us the information the way you think it is, beside your political? Other actors, they will say, you are from UPC.
I won't deal with you.
So I want to give a credit there. And then I also want to thank those individuals in government who have adhered to standards. But I want to give you information from the local communities I live in. They say we can do our own homework. That some of these people who steal don't steal necessarily because they want to steal. They are in positions that can be used to steal. You steal, get a payback, and you're protected. That is why you find a person is on interdiction. You still have a bigger person in government. They will give calls. I've been in a meeting when I was young somewhere. I was in a meeting where a judge was called, a magistrate was called in the meeting with one of the complainants, and tomorrow they are supposed to pass judgment. Now, if you're in such a meeting and you're in high school, it's very hard to go to report to IGG. And I've also seen a situation where a person has swindled money and the public is the first to protect, because the man buys, maybe is a politician, buys a few things. So I want to argue the community as well.
I was going to come to the part of the community, but in this case,
yes,
we are evaluating the government efforts. We are evaluating government efforts in fighting corruption. Are you as James, are you satisfied with the efforts of the government in fighting corruption?
I think
you had issues of policies and all that.
Yeah, I will start. Music teaches us many things. The lyrics, people writing music. There's a song, Celine Dion, where she says, I will go and bring you the moon. She sings about a lover, doing all these nice things.
When it's just
okay.
Now
he likes his song of Ansirike.
You get it, eh? And I think Uganda is like Celine Dion. The government is like Celine Dion. They will sing all these nice lullabies, showing you how they can give you great love.
Make you fall in love, and they don't tell you.
Okay? Then they have another musician again, also with some lyrics that make sense. Now that's Alien Skin. He has this song, Hakuna Kurudi Nyuma Twende. Now, there are countries like Rwanda where corruption is not tolerated. Now they are like Alien Skin. Let's move ahead. We are not going to tolerate anything. Now for us here, we have those lullabies. What is government doing? In fact, you gave government 4. I personally and honestly believe they don't deserve more than 3 out of 10. Okay? But how
this was the guy to
yes. And what are they doing anyway? Many of the things are cosmetic. Did you know that there is a zero tolerance to corruption policy?
Yes.
2019, signed by the president. And in the foreword, Reverend Simon Lokodo, he stated, I am very certain that zero tolerance corruption policy not only addresses the key bottlenecks affecting the anti-corruption agenda, but also sets priorities and key result areas. You hear that? Look at the mission of that policy: to provide, guide, and support a holistic framework for fighting corruption in Uganda for national transformation and development.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Let me give you this example.
We are in the last bit of this conversation, and we are assessing the impact.
Let me give a very practical and honest opinion in the sector of education. I went to Uganda Cooperative College in 2011. I went on government sponsorship.
Yes.
We did a diploma in business administration, in cooperative and business administration. I got 18 points. By then we had 25. I had Hague and Venet. To my surprise, I first applied the job forms. I was not shortlisted. I went to the village and had prayers, and I came for supplementary. That's when I was picked up. On reaching there, I found colleagues who had 10 and 12 points. They were on government sponsorship. When I asked, how did you land here? They said they had someone A, B, C, D. But in the same sense, there were members of 17 points who were in private. We were sharing Uganda Petroleum Institute. I don't know whether you have heard of UPIC.
Yes, yes.
We found them, and they were using our premises. And we are now sister institutions. Do you know how many people qualify to go there? Do you know any?
No,
and if you asked one, how did you qualify? He will tell you, I'm a son of an RDC. I'm a son of Professor so and so. So,
okay.
So no.
From that experience, it will be very wrong to give them more than 4.
Fortunately or unfortunately,
yes.
Liada is now complaining of personal grievance.
Yes,
no. This is the.
I want to
but the truth is,
because I was observed and I thank them.
There are also corruption cases. We have about 6 minutes to the end of the show. I want to find out from you, James, what is the role of the public in fighting corruption? Because we talk about the government. This fight is not only for the president. This fight is not only for the RDCs. This fight is not only for the IGG and the Speaker of Parliament. This fight is a general fight for all Ugandans, because at the end of the day, the economy is affected. It bites all of us, right? Now, what is the role of the public in fighting corruption?
All right, I'll be very quick because of time. One, the public has to speak out against corruption. 2, we are told report to the IGG. Although reporting to the IGG is also something else. Out of practical experience, there is a whole lot of
you're
mess
suggesting
up
the role, but also criticizing.
Yes, I'm saying what's supposed to be done. We go and report, yes. But you reach there and they start playing around with things. Again, that's another form of corruption, by the way. Then 3, we have to monitor project implementation in our areas. They are building a school. We should take concern about that. They are constructing a road. We should make sure we monitor what's going on. Then we also avoid being part of the chain of bribery. We have to hold leaders accountable.
Yes.
We must hold them accountable. We have to testify in court when it comes to corruption cases. Many times people are quick to shout, Goni have descended, blah, blah. The court case comes up, they don't want to go to court. Then they expect somehow the judge to rule in favor of the complainants when there is no one to prove. Okay? Then we need to play a key role in tracking, identifying, and reporting illegally acquired assets by leaders.
Then this is where lifestyle comes in.
We need, even if you can't report now, keep a record. A time will come. A time will come, I can assure you, as night follows day, when that record you kept will come out handy. We should also stop glorifying the corrupt. That guy, man.
In the church, they take the front seat.
You know what beats my understanding is how money is stolen and then someone builds a building and says, no, God did not give you that.
You get it?
You are lying, my friend.
We glorify them. When someone does work honestly, they say, he had a big job, he never stole. You blame someone for not stealing?
Correct.
Okay. Then religious leaders also, it is time they began taking a stand against corruption.
And they have an audience. They have the church. They have
condemning it.
They speak during funerals.
Actually, they should refuse.
And unfortunately for religious leaders, when someone comes and pays you tithe, you say, "Oh, he has tithed, so the money has been sanitized." God bless him. Use that pulpit to ensure that you propagate proper moral values. That's what I had to share.
So.
Yes.
Mr. Diada.
Yes.
You have anything to add on the role of the public?
He has put it very clear. May I want to urge the public to isolate the corrupt. I have seen people being isolated over homosexuality in my area. And I think it pains. You're a very rich person, you come with your Benz, we move away. Then to government, you should increase funding to the agency that play the checks and balance. You should actually reduce money from my fellow MPs. True. Much as I want to go there. Because I've seen only few MPs who have played it.
Okay.
Others are playing
our time is up, ladies and gentlemen. We would like to end today. We are going to end here. We want to say goodbyes to people, but whoever has been on, as a colleague, a comrade of mine, Magezi, has told me he moved to Kampala. And of course, a number of you, the people of Kampala, the people of Kawempe, the people of Butaleja, who actually have been very active, I think because of you guys and getting lots of comments. I wish we could read all of them, but time is up. Thank you so much for being part of the economic agenda, which happens here every Tuesday from 9 p.m. This is Smart 24 TV. My name is Noah. The time check is about 29 minutes past 10. We'll see you next time. Stay blessed. Don't involve yourself in corruption. It's very dangerous. And support the government to support us. Stay blessed.
Smart 24, driving business.
Rachel! Rich! The Queen Cobra, the password of the money, the original no spare parts, the 11th commandment, the question and the answer.
Osmosis. I know you want money, but I'm also broke.
Ah, no. Money is not an object. These days, Mama sorts me out anytime. In fact, my sister, let me also sort you out.
Really?
have just sent you instructions on how to get a loan on Momo. I'm here for you. Can I borrow some chips?
When you need a loan, you've got MTN Momo. Wesotinge. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
For years I was working and I was giving him all my money, and then I walked away when I realized I'm being used. I don't know how we got here.
I wanted to give you something that is really special for you. I need you to turn around.
Luxury redefined at Seasan Hotel as you indulge in the splendor of elegant living fit for the royalty that you are. Step into comfort, pampering and blissful customer-centric service as you select from our range of comfy, exquisite living quarters furnished to meet with your royal preference. Surrounded by scenic beauty, our tropical setting allows you to escape the glamorous ordeal of city life. Our ambient green gardens will guide you to a place of revitalizing rest. The 3-star restaurant caters to your palate, serving your choice menu ranging from exotic cuisines to local delicacies. Our chefs will serve you full-course meals for a truly out-of-this-world culinary experience. Our fully stocked bar to whet your throat, from renowned global brand whisks, brandies, gins, beers and wines to our locally celebrated beverages, you will not lack for any brewage. It's an all-new experience in the East at Seasan Hotel. So visit today at plot 15 to 19 Spire Road, Ginger, or contact us on +256 751 719 960 and +256 785 354 614 for reservations. Seasan Hotels, luxury redefined.
Get ready for a groundbreaking series that dives deep into the world of farming. Welcome to Farm Smart, Cultivating Success. Explore the latest trends, innovation, and techniques in farming. In-depth insights into the world of farming. Hear first-hand information from the farmers who have achieved remarkable success. Learn about their